Hey guys, Quidar Farms here, back with my new series I'm going to be doing. It's not about farming, it's not about seasons, it's not about surviving the harshest climates. It's about teaching. I'm going to call it Farming 101. In this series, I'm going to be doing my first little baby steps that I did. This is the beginner map, Ravenport. Very easy map, starts you off. This is new farmer mode. It starts you off with this land right here. So if I go into the maps, that's the land you own. You own this little bush hill here, you own this big field, a house, silo, and 3 small fields. Boop, 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 boop. That's what it starts you off with, which is good. That's a good start. And usually, if you've never played the game before, this map will automatically do a tutorial for you and say, go to this tractor, go to that tractor, and try this out. Go to this tractor and harvest, right? We have our tractor there. But this series is going to be about teaching you guys where I started from, and I did exactly what I'm doing right now. I started on this map, doing this tractors, and we will see. Alright, so when you come in, you're going to probably spawn on the hill right there, and it's going to say, welcome to Farming Simulator. First off, it's going to teach you how to cultivate. Obviously, for some reason it usually has your field harvested, then you have to cultivate, but it starts you off with cultivated fields already. That's crazy. So then we do seeding, or I'll just pretend there's something there. Or what I could do is with my easy dev, what field is this? Field 25. All right, easy dev. I can do field debug. Yeah, here we are. Field 25. Fruit type, growth stage. I want it to be 1. No. No. Harvested. That's death. Alright, well, let's say we made a mistake. We're like, oh no, I did not mean to plant wheat here. I meant to plant canola. Well, we'd head into this. It would turn on. You would hook up your little cultivator here. And you would supposedly use the weights if you didn't know anything. I don't personally use weights. I don't see the point of them unless you're carrying something heavy in the front and you put the weight in the back. But that's the only point I see them. So you'd come up to the field. Driving's your normal keys there. And cultivating will only do the surface. Is it? Oh, gee. See, that's another thing. You gotta make sure you have the right tool selected. So now I've lowered it. It's just going to just scratch it off. It's just barely going in. All it does is get rid of what's on it. You do this and this all the way around. You make sure you have it done. I'll do a little trick here. Then you would lift it up. Everything, boom. Like that. Easy, easy peasy. You just keep going. You just cultivate it off, and it'll be ready to sow, or to seed. Now, I'll get to that when I get to the seeders, sorry. But yeah, cultivators will just do this. There's subsoilers in the shop. There's subsoilers, and there's plows, there's harrows, and there's cultivators, and power harrows. Let's go through all of them. Cultivator is what I'm using right now. All it does is prepare the field for sowing. So does this, prepares the field, prepares the field. Now with plowing, in-game, plowing can create a new field off of just random grass. You can connect these two up, make a big field, and also your fields to be plowed once in a while. But subsoilers, they cultivate and they plow. They can't create fields, not in my experience at least. There is a mod that allows cultivators to create fields, but I don't have that downloaded. But they will plow and be a cultivator. Those are really helpful if you're just doing like base game, oh, I need plowing, but I don't want to use a annoying sideways angled plow. Well, you could just go ahead and use a subsoiler. Alright, next. Now you have your field all cultivated, plowed, subsoiled, ready to harvest, or ready to be planted. So you come into your planter tractor, you would hook up to your seeder, up to your weight, I guess, and in the seeder, you would toggle, you can see, with the black, you can see down there's 1,000 liters of wheat. I can toggle which seed I want to use. So I can go from wheat, barley, oats, canola, soybeans, oilseed radish, grass. Go into the shop. There will be seeders and planters. Seeders mainly do the ones I just listed. They'll only do those 7 crops. And you get bigger and bigger as more power required to pull. See right here, 640 horsepower to pull it, and 471 kilowatt hour of energy to pull it as well. And there's tanks there. The one we have requires 85 horsepower and 63 kilowatt. And we have one of them. It holds 1,000 liters, and the bigger you get, the more liters it holds, the more power it requires. Lucky for us, I know the tractor really well that we're using. It has 170. So if we really wanted to, we could probably run this one. And we could definitely run this one, which is a wider working length. Oh, actually, no, it's all three are the same, just hold more. Now, I was going to say this before. This one can't. It can sow your fields. These ones, and usually the ones like further on, also can offer the possibility to seed directly, so no cultivating or plowing necessary. So you don't have to cultivate. With this one you do. It has to be cultivated, it has to be ready to go. But with other ones you don't have to. So you would lower it, and then you would turn it on. As you can see, it's changing the ground behind us. That's how you know. It's making rows of plants. You just keep on going. There we go. It's gonna be a quick series. I'm getting through this really quick. But this is just the basics. I can go on to more episodes of more. Turn it off. Basics. This is what the game starts you off with. I wouldn't personally do this anymore, obviously. I'm used to the game. I know how to play. But this is what you start off with. You just sow your fields, you cultivate, and then you harvest. And then you collect. I guess the next thing would be to harvest. So I'll do field 24. We'll do wheat. And I think 5 was fully grown. Ready to harvest. That's another thing I can do for you guys. So you see this one here has some growth. It has some cultivating, and now you have some sowing. So there's planted, there's growth, there's cultivated, and there's ready to harvest. Go on your map. You probably see me do this a lot. You zoom in. See all these options. So these are all the crops I could do in this land. I can do all the grass. I can do all these trees that I have in my fields here if I wanted to. I could do sugar cane. But most importantly, here it goes. So right now, it'll tell me I have wheat growing. If I want to know how much, then I say, oh, that blue is cultivated. It looks like I have cultivated and growing. It looks like I have the first growth stage and mostly cultivated. You see the yellow. Turn it off, turn it back on. It's ready to harvest. Then you have withered. I wonder if there's any. No, there isn't. Oh, there is. A couple fields are withered, which means they grew too long and they're destroyed. Most of these fields, though, are growing or just planted. And then there's plowed, harvested. So after we're done harvesting, it'll turn purple. There's plowed, which is a lighter blue. And then for some crops, you have to remove the tops. So the tops removed would be red. Then you have this screen, soil composition. So this will tell you if all our fields need plowing. So we would need to plow with a subsoiler or the plow. After that, most fields need lime every 3 harvests. Every 3 times you harvest off some kind of thing, your fields will require lime. Now, there is a way, you probably see me do this in game as well, to turn off these mandatories. You can turn off crop destruction. You can turn off lime required, because if you don't do lime, it'll reduce your yield. So if you turn that off, not doing lime won't reduce. And you can turn off weeds. And you can turn on traffic, automatic starts, time scale, so it could skip time, plant growth. I don't know why that's off. Slow, normal, fast. That's weird. Fuel usage, you could turn that lower or higher depending on what you want. But yeah, now you've sown, you've fertilized, and now you're ready to harvest. You hop in your harvester, and most tools, if I unfold it here, you have to press X for my computer to unfold. Unfolding it allows it to be ready to be activated. So you would lower your header. Oh, it's weird. Oh, it's not connected, that's why. I was like, why is it not lowering? So you would lower your header, you would turn it on, and you would start going. You would start collecting up the goods. Now, with all harvesters, there's an option. One, you can do a swath dropping of straw on certain crops. So that's what I'm doing right now. Or I could turn that off, and it just kind of just throws it out, no droppings at all. Or I could turn it back on, and it will drop straw. Turn it off, you turn around. See, this is why I don't like this map. The fields are really beside all these big hills, and you're in a valley. Not really much room. I like my maps with all the room. Oh, there we go. You can't go backwards, obviously. It makes sense, but you can't go backwards. So I couldn't just do that. But you can do whatever you want. You can do it crossways. You could do it up and down like I'm doing it. You can do circles. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't affect more yield, less yield. Whatever. It might affect how easy it is to collect the straw, but doing circles with a loading wagon is quite difficult from my experience. But yeah, that's how that works. Other basic stuff. Well, obviously, now that you have, let's say we had a full tank of grain here. So, if you didn't have a helper, you would pipe out. So your pipe would come out, and you do have a function to dump whenever. But why would you do that? You would want to dump it into a trailer. So you would grab your trailer, and all you have to do, don't have to do anything else, just go underneath. It'll just start unloading. It'll unload and unload and unload till the tank's empty. And you would usually go over here, put it into your silo. Now, since you started off with new farmer mode, and this is the first map that you play on, you already have some crops. If I go over here, it says silo owned capacity. So there's other silos in the map that you don't own, but there's silos that you do own. So you start out with this many crops. So you have 12,000 liters of this, 13,000 liters of that, and you have no way of storing this stuff. That would have become another time. There's firewood because I have the firewood mod on. But yeah, you would store all this stuff, and then you would go and sell it. Now, I'm talking very fast and getting a lot of things done, but trust me, this will be a multi-episode series. I'm just doing the basics. That's literally the first thing you do in this whole world. You cultivate, sow, and you harvest. Next episode, I'll go into detail about the fertilizing and the lime and the plowing. I could do that next episode. And then fertilizing herbicide is a good one. You gotta kill the weeds off. There's different ways of doing it, but I have a preferred method. Different ways of doing it is that you can weed it when it's young, or spray it whenever time you need to, whatever, right? Yeah, we'll do that next episode. This is gonna be a nice little series, this little filler, what do you say? Nice short episodes. Not short, I guess it's 15 minutes right now, but shorter. This is the first one. Next episodes after this will be a lot shorter. This is just kind of a tutorial, kind of just know how. But this is Farming 101. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll come back next time with another episode. See you later.